Guys, where were you when Brian Griffin was killed off Family Guy? I was thinking about that all day. I was like, that's how I want to open it, and I fucked it up.
How long did it take for you to think of that?
I made a community post the other day being like, guys, how did you react when Brian Griffin was killed off Family Guy? And a lot of people said, I'm surprised. A lot of people were like, he was killed off? What?
They didn't even know that he died?
Yeah, but a majority of people were like, I liked Vinny better, which I disagree with,
I like Vinny better too.
I don't like Vinny. I did not.
Why?
I don't care for mafia stuff.
Okay, mafia stuff aside, he's a better dog. He was more likable dog.
Nah, he had no personality. Old Brian was better. Also, they had no episodes that really show you what Vinny's like, other than the one, because whenever Brian was killed off Family Guy and they brought in Vinny, it was just like 2 episodes with a Vinny before, and then one of them wasn't even about him.
It was about Vinny being like a good friend to like Stewie and everybody in the family.
Oh, that was the first episode, but
he was better in every way.
But then the next one was like a random one about Peter like being insecure about something, and then the next one, it's the one where isn't it the one where he gets like a little neck growth that turns into its own person?
You're asking the wrong person here.
This is for you guys, whoever knows. What was your reaction? Because as we all know, Family Guy in 2014, I want to say, killed off the beloved dog Brian Griffin in the classic episode
Mom's
Life
Gone Wrong.
Brian. Yeah. Life of Brian, and they killed off old Brian Griffin permanently. Because I remember
So what are you asking me?
Where were you?
When Brian died?
Where were you? That's like the 2010s version of 9/11. Where were you where were you when the car struck Brian?
What year was that?
2014.
2014. I was in college.
But were you like gobsmacked?
I was pretty shocked that they would kill him off, but I also thought, that's a really desperate move.
Well, how did you hear about it?
Was it I think Twitter.
Yeah.
And it was like, Brian's dead. And I see like pictures that people would like make of R.I.P. Brian Griffin. It's him like standing in a martini glass.
But were you like, what?
I mean, I wasn't devastated, but I was like I said, my first thought was, wow, they really need somebody to watch their show now. They had to kill off Brian.
See, I did not think that. I saw it on
You were devastated.
I was really like a big avid Facebooker. And
is that what you call them?
Yeah, whenever I got my Facebook account when I was like going into high school, I was like, holy shit, I have a Facebook account. And so I would like look at memes on Facebook all day, and I followed the Family Guy account on it, and
the gimmick account?
No, the actual official Family Guy account. And the official Family Guy account one day posted like, one of the Griffins will be permanently killed off on this week's Family Guy. And I was like, oh no, who is it?
You're like, I hope it's not Quagmire.
I was like, it's going to be Brian, because they can't kill anyone else. It's going to be Brian. And then I remember the episode came out, but I don't think it aired like immediately in the UK, so I had to find a torrent of it online.
So like a really crushed like...
I watched it at like 480p, and I was like, what the fuck? They killed Brian? And I cried.
It was... Isn't it after they like go into like... They have like a Brian and Stewie shenanigan like...
They have like a random like, yeah, Brian and Stewie like time travel plot.
Yeah, there we go.
For the first like 7 minutes of the episode. And then Brian just randomly gets hit by a car. It's like Brian getting hit by a car is the inciting incident of the episode.
Isn't he and then he goes back in time to try and stop it, right? Or like
Stewie
because they destroy the time machine and he doesn't have it, so he can't save Brian.
Yeah, in the first 7 minutes in their time travel shenanigans, they give like the Native Americans guns. And Stewie's like, that was a complete disaster. I'm going to destroy my time machine, even though it's done much worse.
Yeah, and he's also like made multiple different like time machines.
Yeah, but then it's like, yeah, he destroys it, but then he's like, I can just build another one. But the guy who sold him the parts is dead, so he can't do it anymore. And that's the plot of the episode. And they get a new dog.
They get
new
Vinny.
Brian.
Vinny's new Brian, isn't he?
No, new Brian's a different dog.
That's okay.
That's an episode from like season 4.
That's the dog I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of new Brian?
No, it is Vinny. He's got like a long snout, right?
Yeah, no, new Brian looks really normal. He looks like a normal dog with like a red bandana on it.
No, Vinny is the one I'm thinking of then. Because they go to the grocery store, right? And he's like explaining to him how he's not going to exist, and he's like really cool about it.
Yeah, that's Vinny.
Vinny is cool.
Well, Vinny's voiced by the Sopranos guy, isn't he?
He's not James Gandolfini.
No, not him.
Because he had been dead by then. Tony Cicero. Oh, he's Paulie. He's Paulie from The Sopranos.
Yes, that's
who
Vinny.
also passed away recently.
You should look up New Brian.
New Brian? Okay.
No, look him up on YouTube. I love New Brian's voice.
Why you okay. Do you know who does his voice?
What?
Do you know who does his
No,
voice?
I just really like how generic his voice is.
Let's see, New Brian, Family Guy. Is that really how they write him off?
Yeah, it's so violent. He kills him.
I honestly, anything in Family Guy that has to deal with like Stewie and Rupert, I love it. I love it. Like I like the little fantasy of them at the beach and they're splashing each other. He's like buff.
Everyone really liked the episode. It was a recent one where
the therapy episode.
No, that's the worst thing ever. It's like Brian kills Rupert. And then so Stewie has Brian take him up a mountain to like spread his ashes or something, and everyone's like, that was a really emotional episode. And I watched it and I was like, I don't care about any of these characters anymore. They're all fucking prigs.
You don't care about Rupert?
I don't care about Rupert. I'm sorry. I was never a Rupert fan.
I liked Rupert. I liked Stewie's little like drama with Rupert.
Do you like that Brian starts hanging out with Stewie more than he did Peter?
Yes. I like Brian as Stewie's friend more than I like it as Peter.
I liked him as Peter's friend too, though.
Yeah,
in
but
season
then
one, it was kind of charming.
You think of like The Road to Rhode Island or The Road to
well, I think
Multiverse.
both are good. I loved the episode where this is another later one that I thought was pretty good, where Stewie like wipes everyone's memory and puts like Peter, Joe, Quagmire, and Brian in the whole town with their like memory wiped, and it's like an empty town, and as like an experiment. It's like a twist ending. The experiment is he wanted to see if
they would still be friends.
If they would still be friends, if he
Yeah.
wasn't like forced to be his friend because he's his dog. And I was like, that's a good episode. I like that one. It's sweet.
Do they end up being friends?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. That's
it's just nice. Yeah. See, sometimes Family Guy gives an episode that's like, oh, that's sweet.
What season was that? Do you remember?
I was like season 12. It was. I guess.
Bruce, put up the actual.
Put like a ding or like dang dang.
So we already know that your favorite episode is Brian in Love.
No, that's not even true.
It's not.
Is it?
Yeah.
What did I say in my video?
It's Brian's in Love,
I like
isn't it?
Brian Wallows, and I like the one
Brian Wallows and Peter Swallows.
I like the one with Brian and the old lady. It's the best one.
That's Brian in Love, isn't it? No.
Brian in Love's the one where he loves Lois.
No, it is Brian Wallows and Peter Swallows, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's my favorite one.
Was he Brian and old lady?
Oh, that is Brian
episode.
Wallows.
Yeah, Brian Wallows and Peter Swallows. No, that's Brian's got a new bet. No, that's different.
No, Brian's got a new bag is the episode where he falls in love with the lady and he's self-conscious because she's older, which is...
But then he's already had a relationship with an older lady.
Yeah, but Brian is also like 40 years old in the show, isn't he?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I love the way they draw him in the early episodes.
How sad he looks.
But they're on screen. Dude, old Family Guy. It's pretty good. You know what it is, though? I was thinking this the other day, because I was watching a clip from, like, SpongeBob Season 8. I don't know why. But I was watching it, and I was like, this is bad. Like, this season of SpongeBob from, like, Season 4 to, like, 8 is really bad. But it still feels like it's in the same universe that the early episodes did.
It still feels like SpongeBob in a way.
Yeah, there's something about it that's still, because I think it's still like a lot of the same people, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's Paul Tibbitt, I think. But as soon as it goes to season 9, it's like an immediate shift, and it's like seasons like 48 aren't good. But I can still call that that's SpongeBob, you know? It's just written like weirdly, you know, flanderized.
It starts getting really saturated at that point. Yeah. And the art style slowly starts changing.
I know it quickly changes. It's literally between episodes. Between the end of season 8 and the start of season 9.
No. I'm talking about within 4 to like 7.
Oh, yeah.
It starts getting like, they start changing like the curve of SpongeBob's smile. They start making like his teeth longer.
Yeah.
They like at one point they make him more square.
That's in like the later seasons.
Yeah.
Like the way later ones.
We were talking about that with Jay Lender, and if you hadn't seen that episode, you should check it out. But yeah, I don't like how much more boxy they make him. They don't make him as loose anymore. And Patrick too.
They make him like overly like fat and
also,
like dumb looking.
Patrick used to have like little eyebrows, like little like pokey eyebrows, and then they just changed it into
maybe it's the way you're dressed.
Maybe it's the way you look. Maybe
it's because you're ugly.
That's what Sonny said.
I love when he rubs his eyebrow and he's like, nah.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's what it is, yeah. No, even beyond the art style, I'm thinking about the way the show just like feels, because I realized this when I was watching Family Guy. Is that like you get to a certain season and you're like, this is bad, but it still feels like the show. You know, you look at like Family Guy season like 9 and 10 and whatever, and you're like, yeah, it's not as good, but it's still Family Guy. But then you watch the newer Family Guys, and it's like, this doesn't even feel like the same like universe anymore.
So
or even the bad ones.
Let me ask you this then: when did it start changing completely for Family Guy?
I think for Family Guy around like season 16 or 17. It's all recently too.
That took a while.
Yeah, but it's weird. You know what it is? It's because it feels like it's written by like millennials now, which I mean it is.
It's written by AI.
But that's it feels like it's because Family Guy can't work for the modern day the way it was, where
it can work for the modern day, but they won't make those jokes.
Yeah, because they want
to, or they won't take it there.
But
yeah.
no, I mean in the sense of like Family Guy was about like an old average. He's like a family man, you know. He's a family guy.
He's a family guy, yeah.
But that kind of like ideology and stuff isn't really that big of a thing anymore, or at least like.
It's not a common trope anymore.
Yeah. So they lean more into doing all these wacky things that just don't feel like. There was the new episode where it's like, what, Peter clones himself or something like that.
I have no idea.
We watched it with Sunny.
I didn't watch it with Sunny.
Yeah, we were watching it, and it was like he clones himself, and it's just like, this is just nothing anymore. Like,
what's the point of the episode?
He clones himself, and his family like the clone more than him. Which they did in the episode where he gets the little growth on his neck and it turns into its own person. The family liked the little growth more than him.
That's also, you probably won't know this one, but that's a Disney Channel movie called The Other Me, where he gets like sea monkey. The little kid gets sea monkeys and it grows into his sea chicas.
That's a family. Not a Family Guy. That's a Five Nights at Freddy's book plot. Sea bonnies.
Are they like sea monkeys, but little bonnies?
They're little bonnies.
That's so stupid.
and they're evil, and the little boy, the little kid who has them, his older brother, makes fun of them and calls them fucking Liam.
That sucks.
And so the bonnies,
they go into his water.
They jump in his water.
Not really.
And he swallows it, and they fucking they start like
destroy him from the inside out.
Not even destroy him. They take over his body.
That's kind of
the point where he looks
like terrifying if you think about it.
Yeah, they're like all like little psychological horror books.
But okay, so in The Other Me, he gets sea monkeys and he grows his own clone, and he's like, oh great, I have a clone who can go to school for me, and I'll just stay home and play video games all the time. And then as like the movie goes on, everybody likes the clone better than him, and at the very end, he just like, I think
kills
his clone.
Himself.
No, his clone like sacrifices himself so he could have a normal life. So the clone like I think has an expiration date, and he ends up dying.
Oh, that's pretty dark.
Even like the girl he likes at school likes the clone more than him. What are they? The Alexander brothers?
I don't know what.
There were 3 brothers who they did Disney Channel movies together. They were Disney Channel stars.
Oh, really?
And there was 3 of them. They all had the same last name, obviously.
The Jonas Brothers?
No, this is weird. The Other Me, Disney Channel. Oh, here we go. The Other Me. It was made in 2000. Yeah, there it is. That's what he looks like. He kind of looks like a young Tobey Maguire. But yeah, the Lawrence brothers. There's 3 of them, and they all did Disney Channel movies together, and they all kind of look the same, but like one has like a mustache, the other one has like beady eyes.
Mm-hmm. They don't look the same.
They do kind of look the same. Yeah, they do. They all
look
have,
like brothers, but they don't.
They
look
have
the same.
like the same face, but then one has like a goatee, the other one has like a mustache, and the other one has like glasses. Tell me this, Mark, when me and Ray sat you down and we watched Disney Channel movies. We watched The Luck of the Irish. I think we watched Smart House and Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. Do you remember anything about any of them?
No. I was gonna say I remember Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, but then I remembered I don't. I slightly remember the ending where it's like he has to go to the cooking contest or he has to go to his baseball game and he can't decide. He quits the cooking to go to the baseball. And then he like rushes and wins the
he wins the game.
Does he win? Does he win?
No, he doesn't do the final batting. He lets like the rookie do it instead to go to the cook-off, and then his dad helps him at the cook-off.
He doesn't win the cook-off, does he? I don't think
he does win. No, I think he doesn't win. He like loses to the one girl chef.
Yeah, and they throw pies in his face.
Yeah, pies.
And they push him over.
And they all laugh. Pies.
What is that from?
That's from the Closet Organizer, SNL sketch Closet Organizer.
We don't have that.
You guys don't have NBC?
No, definitely not.
Really?
We have RTE.
I know, like obviously, I know like channels aren't the same in America and in different countries, but I don't know. Like NBC is such a big.
Isn't SNL like all like celebrity and American culture?
I mean, yeah, but
everyone's watching
pop culture.
Everyone's too busy watching Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Everybody's watching what's it called? Continental. That one, you know what I'm talking about?
Come Dine With Me.
Yeah. What's it called? Coronation Street.
Coronation Street, guys, look up Coronation Street.
Train scene.
Well, put it here. Put like, and then put the clip right there. It's like, so Coronation Street is like such a quaint little show that old ladies love because it's just a fucking soap opera.
It's a soap opera, yeah.
It's just like this town full of people and there's like a million characters, but you keep tracking them all.
There's all little dramas happening.
All the little town dramas that's going on. And then in one random episode,
they kill off like 8 characters.
Because a train like fucking goes off its track and like crashes into like one of the shops.
And it like brutally shows these people like screaming in fear getting killed.
Yeah,
like
these classic characters.
All these characters you've been following along for seasons just getting murdered in front of you by a train.
Honestly, it's pretty bold. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, honestly.
If you're like an old lady watching that, you must be like, your head would explode.
I remember Chris telling me about that show, and he was like, it's like one of the longest running soap operas.
I think like 80 years, something like that.
Not 80 years, really.
Look it up.
80 years?
Maybe, I don't know.
It's been going on since like, let's see.
Well, yeah, maybe not 80.
December 9th, 1960.
So what, 63 years?
63, okay, so almost 80.
I wasn't even that off, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I was going to say like 50 or 40.
63 years.
That's wild. And then they kill off all these characters of the train. Did you ever have like, okay, I'm sure that was very like surprising for audiences. Other than Brian getting murdered, was there ever another TV show that like kind of surprised you with where they went?
This would have surprised me if I cared at the time, but I was really surprised by regular show's ending.
That ending,
I was shocked they killed him off.
That ending made
Spoilers
me cry.
for regular show. Yeah, that's the thing is that whenever regular show was coming out is whenever I was like, fuck cartoons, you know?
Really?
Yeah. I remember
That's pretty early.
I would see, it was what, like 2010?
Yeah, that's pretty early for you.
I was like, I can't watch cartoons. I have to watch iCarly and... I have to watch iCarly and...
I have to watch iCarly.
Yeah, and
gotta
like...
keep track with Gibby.
I have to watch the adult stuff.
That's the adult stuff.
To me, that was the adult stuff. That was all like social pressure, you know? You couldn't watch cartoons.
I kind of dropped off when Steven Universe kind of like started.
2013?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, regular show, I would see the trailers and stuff, and I'd be like...
It's everything but.
I was like, can't watch it.
That's a great slogan.
And then I would, I remember I would catch a couple episodes on TV here and there, and I'd be like, that's really funny, but I can't watch this.
Well, do you remember which episodes were like the first ones you'd seen?
I remember as a kid, I really liked the one where they keep eating all the junk food, and so Rigby's like soul leaves his body. I remember I liked the visual of like his like
the Rig juice.
No, I liked his like body with no eyeballs in it, like running around.
And he goes into like a boot or a can or something, like a trash can.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about like his body.
His skin or whatever.
Yeah, his skin. Yeah, it really freaked me out. It reminded me of the SpongeBob episode, the really shitty one where they do that with Sandy, and that scared me as a kid.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like a season 6 or something like that.
Sandy, what happens to Sandy?
Plankton steals Sandy's fur.
Oh,
controls it like a mech, and her like lifeless like fucking pelt really scared me.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, not that visual. Yeah, this like scared me as a kid.
Yeah, that looks like a crying child.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but then regular show. So I would like. No, I did not watch regular show. I watched a little bit of season 1 and then never again. But then I remember I saw whenever season 7 was happening, which I think was the last season, they were like, yeah, the whole season's taking place in space. And I was like,
the movie?
I was like, no, the movie didn't take place in space.
No.
The movie's great. I loved them.
You like the movie, but you didn't want to watch the show.
I was like, oh, a movie? I'll check that out. That's like an hour and a half. And I loved the movie. I loved like the college, little college conflict they had where Rigby like changed his thing so he couldn't go to college.
Yep.
I loved all that stuff.
What do you think about the end result? Because at the where all the characters go.
Yeah. Whenever it was announced that season 7 was like them in space, I was like, fuck that. I was like, that's so lame. That's such like a trope, you know?
It is a trope.
Yeah, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, they were probably self-aware it was a trope. This is a show very obsessed with like 80s and 90s like culture, so they probably were just doing the trope because...
That's a good example of a show who takes that kind of like retro nostalgia and actually makes it good.
Yeah, because
it actually does something good with it.
Yeah.
Like Rex Kwon Do.
It's not really in your face.
I mean, it is in your face, but it's like...
Well, but they're not like stopping to like point attention to it. It's just the world, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But then I watched the finale. So my viewing experience with regular show is basically watching like the first half of season 1, the movie, and the finale.
But you were hooked.
But even then, the finale, I was like sad. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that they would like do something like that. So bold.
Oh, when it shows Pops and he's like, good show. Or like the TV, the VHS coming out.
Yeah, that whole ending, they're playing fucking David Bowie in the background.
Dude, thinking about it right now makes me want to cry. It is so beautiful and sad.
Kills himself.
Dude, Pops is such a good character too.
What's like a cartoon finale where you were like, were like struck by it?
A finale?
Yeah. Well, I think you probably, like, where we grew up, a lot of the shows that we watched didn't really have, like, definitive finales.
Like,
they just kind of end.
Hey Arnold didn't really have much of a finale, although, like, one of their last...
What about that Jungle movie? Veronica's never watched
I'm never gonna watch it. I'm never gonna watch it.
You're afraid of it ruining it?
I'm just never gonna watch it.
Someday, guys, someday. If this video gets 500 likes, we will sit down and watch the Hey Arnold Jungle movie and give our thoughts.
Yeah, but Hey Arnold had a really good... How about this? Rather than finales, how about really good episodes of series that, like, kind of, like, made me cry?
Okay.
I feel like that's a better question, because some like...
A lot of shows that we grew up with didn't have finales.
Fairly Odd Parents didn't really have a finale. Like, SpongeBob didn't really have a finale, unless you consider the movie.
It's still going.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, a lot of the shows
Arnold,
then were episodic. So.
Regular show did.
Well, I was saying a lot of the cartoons that I grew up with had finales, but by the time they had the finale, I wasn't watching anymore. Like Phineas and Ferb and shit like that.
See, I didn't even know Phineas and Ferb had a finale because they're still making
they
stuff.
They had a finale and they keep making more. Yeah.
But I would say, oh man, there's an episode of The Wild Thornberrys where they talk about Donnie. He's like the one kid that's like, blah, 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 blah. He's like crazy, you know. They talk about how they like got Donnie and like what happened to him and why he's like a wild boy or whatever. And like his parents were like geologists or like are some sort of like animal studying, like biologists or whatever, and they're in the woods and they have Donnie or whatever, and he's like a tiny little baby, and then I think they end up dying. They end up getting sacrificed or something happens, or like a volcano erupts or something, and they like die, and it's like Donnie being left alone and like being raised by animals, and like it's really
Tarzan.
Yeah, he's just Tarzan. He's just Wild Boy from Ned's Declassified. But I just remember that episode being like so incredibly sad because he's like doesn't really know what's going on.
He doesn't know how to be human.
Yeah, and he doesn't understand like. And then it's kind of like a slice of like this character is this crazy like psychotic child, and you're kind of like, oh, he's kind of annoying, but he's like, you know, he's the wild card to like the show.
In the Wild Thornberrys.
Yes, in the Wild Thornberrys. But then you kind of see his like backstory, and you're like, that's really fucking sad.
That made
like,
you cry as a kid.
That made me cry as a kid. That and Pigeon Man, we talked about that in the last episode, of Hey Arnold, and Mr. Nguyen. The Christmas episode of Mr. Nguyen finding his daughter. Yeah. Hey Arnold, that episode makes me cry.
A lot of episodes I don't think there was a single episode other than Life of Brian, ironically, that made me cry as a kid.
The Powerpuff Girls episode when they want another sister and they make their own like sugar spice and everything nice mixture. No. Bunny. The real sister, Bunny. Get fucking Jigsaw to come in and slap it out of the way and
get
put
Jigsaw
Bunny.
to come in with a little pole, one of those little like
the hooks,
little hooks, and
pull it out and then put Bunny. That episode, oh my god, made me cry so hard. They make their own sister and she's just deformed. Like she doesn't look quite like them. She's a lot bigger.
I have seen her, and
she pretty much wants to help save the world, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know any better. Yeah, she doesn't know any better, and they kind of yell at her to go away, and she's kind of fucking things up. She doesn't know any better, anyways. So they tell her to go fuck off, and then at the end of the day, they get the Powerpuff Girls gets their ass beats, and they start like crying for Bunny to come and help them. So then Bunny comes and saves the day, but because she was she was made differently, not as how Professor Utonium had made the Powerpuff Girls. Her like chemistry is unstable, so she like explodes and dies. And at the very end, it's like Tom Kenny's narrator voice being like, "And the real hero was Bunny, and then he's like crying, and they play like really sad music.
That made you sad as a kid?
Dude, it is. I'm like getting a little worked up right now. It's so sad. We should watch it after this. We should watch it after this recording, dude.
Yeah, I don't think I ever cried as a kid. I only ever got like sad at like the idea of stuff whenever I was younger. Like that, I got really sad at the end of Channel Chasers, Fairly Odd Parents,
dude.
Where he looks at the little photo and Cosmo and Wanda just look like normal fish. That made me really sad as a kid.
That made me sad too.
But yeah, like it always made me sad for what like they didn't show. I was more like, oh, that's really simple, but it really hurts my little 5-year-old heart.
Oh, I'm trying to think of anything else that like made me fucking cry. Oh, Good Wilt Hunting, the Foster's Home special, where it's like Wilt doesn't know like where his kid has gone off to, and it turns out his kid's like Michael Jordan or something.
Yeah,
he's like a famous basketball player, but it's about him trying to find his kid, and like where he came from. And he's always like a really happy-go-lucky, like nice character. He always means well. So it's like kind of sad seeing him like struggle with like, oh man, like why'd my kid leave me? Like what happened? Ugh. Foster's Home too has like
never seen it. That's the thing, I never watched Cartoon Network as a kid. Never.
You missed out.
I thought Cartoon Network was for like all the old shows like Flintstones and like Tom and Jerry.
Well, that's Boomerang.
Yeah, we had Boomerang too.
Yeah, they had a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff on there.
But for me, it was the way my TV, my Sky cable box was set up was like channel 601 was Cartoon Network, 602 was Cartoon Network Plus, which is like just showing everything an hour later or an hour earlier. Then it was Boomerang, then it was Nicktoons, then Nicktoons Plus, then Nickelodeon, then Disney XD, then...
You had way more than I did growing up.
Disney XD, then I think Disney...
You didn't have Toon Disney?
No. It was Disney XD, then Disney XD Plus, then Disney Channel, then...
What the fuck? Why do you have all these, like, fucking channels? Jesus.
Then it went to, like, baby shows, like Disney Junior.
Dude, when we had Comcast, before Time Warner bought them, it was, like, 10 was Cartoon Network, 11 was Fox, 12 was Disney, and 14 was Nickelodeon.
That's the thing, we never had Fox.
You didn't have Fox? Oh, well, yeah, duh. Of course you didn't have Fox.
Yeah.
Just like you didn't have NBC or ABC. But what about... Oh, you probably didn't have ABC Family.
No.
So you never... Yeah, you wouldn't grow up with any of the, like, like Family Matters or, like...
No.
Full House or anything like that.
They would play Only Fools and Horses.
Did you ever... Okay, because you had Nickelodeon, so did you ever have Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
They might have aired it late at night.
Like Nick at Night?
Yeah. Although we didn't have Nick at Night.
You didn't have... Okay.
Don't think so. No, at nighttime they would air like Amanda's Show and like Ren and Stimpy and Invader Zim.
Oh, okay. That's
how
so
I find
weird,
it. As a kid, I loved Invader Zim.
I did not like Invader Zim growing up.
I thought I was like cool for like finding it because it aired every like weekday night at 10 p.m.
So all your friends were asleep and you're like, yeah, I'm watching Invader Zim.
Not that I talked to any of them about it, but I would be like, this is like a weird show that I feel like I'm not supposed to see. And know what it is? I knew him from the Nicktoons games, the crossover games, and I was like, who is this character? And then I would see the show and be like, that's the character. Like those games, they should make more because they fucking work. I wanted to watch Danny Phantom. I wanted to watch Invader Zim.
But you never watched Danny Phantom.
Yeah, I watched. That's because they never aired it in the UK. I don't know.
Did they not?
They never aired Danny Phantom, and they never aired Jimmy Neutron. Only very, very occasionally.
That's so weird because that's like
those
are good shows, but it's also the bread and they're bread and butter.
Yeah, I caught a couple episodes of Jimmy Neutron. I remember whenever I came home from school one day, they were playing part 1 of the Danny Phantom special that Evil Danny's in.
Yeah, the one where his family dies and blows up.
I got to the ending where it was like the reveal of Evil Danny, and then it cuts to black, and it's for like part 2 or whatever, and then they were not airing part 2. So I was like, why show me that? I want to know what happens.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Comparatively for like...
Can we let this little engine?
Yeah, go on. Come here.
What are we doing? I'm just waiting.
Come on, bring it. His little dick is showing.
Hi, Winko.
Okay, so comparatively, from the shows you now are aware of, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, which do you think had
Nickelodeon?
More?
I gotta say, Nickelodeon.
Better, more shows.
I have to say Nickelodeon, but purely for nostalgia reasons.
No, take that aside.
I can't.
You can't look generally...
I've never watched Foster's. I've never watched Ed, Edd n Eddy. I've never watched fucking Powerpuff Girls. I've never watched Dexter's Lab, really. I don't...
Yeah, Wench is disappointed.
I have no frame of reference. I grew up on...
You call yourself a cartoon critic?
I grew up on SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, and Phineas and Ferb. Those are like my main 3 shows. That's the thing, like... this cartoon thing. I remember when Jill Ender was telling us like, I don't really watch any cartoons now. I realized like, yeah, I really don't watch a lot of cartoons for fun anymore.
No.
I never even really did. A lot of my
What?
videos, I never really watched a lot of cartoons for fun.
You would just watch it because it was on?
Well, no, not. I mean, when it comes to like now, like while I'm like making content about it, you know, it's like that's kind of it has gotten to a point where that's like work, you know.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to be like, oh, you know what? I've never watched this series. Might as well just like see what it's like.
Yeah, definitely. But it's not a thing. I'm not the kind of cartoon fan where I will watch every new thing coming out. You know, I will watch something.
Not new. I mean, like new to you.
Oh yeah, of course. I will. Yeah, I'll go back and watch stuff that I've never seen before. But like I'm not the kind of cartoon fan. This is what I mean. I'm not the kind of cartoon fan who like a new show's coming out and I'm like, oh, watch it. Like all the episodes coming out. You know, it's a new cartoon. I gotta check it out.
I'm not like that either.
I will just. If it interests me, and it's very rare that something interests me.
Yeah, when She-Ra came out, Mark was kind of going bananas.
Whenever Oil House came out, I watched episode 1 because it was like, oh, it's the new show, you have to watch it. And I watched it, and I was like, not for me. And then I didn't watch anything else, you know?
There was another one, Hilda. You watched Hilda, and you were like, not for me.
Yeah, but my thing with Hilda was I was like, that's boring. But I've heard it gets a lot better.
What do you think about that then? What do you think about television shows where they have a slow start and you're like, oh, I could see why people would drop off here?
Well, that's to be expected because, first episode, they're getting the groove right, you know? They're getting into it. You got to set up the characters.
What would you say is a good example of a show starting off strong?
SpongeBob starts off pretty strong.
Yeah. Yeah, but SpongeBob is...
Family Guy starts off pretty strong.
No, it doesn't.
The first episode of Family Guy?
No, it doesn't. Family Guy starts... You even said the first season is kind of like, Oh, wait, no, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else.
You're thinking of South Park.
Yeah, I'm thinking of South Park.
First season of South Park.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm sorry.
The first 3 seasons.
Your face was like, when did I say that?
I was like, when?
No, you're right, because a lot of your favorite episodes are from like season 1 and 2.
Season 2 mostly, not season 1. Season 1 for a Family Guy's like, that's solid, you know? Season 2 is like, that's really good, and then season 3 is like, this is great.
What about Simpsons?
Simpsons, season 1 has a lot of episodes I like, but it's not because they're funny. Simpsons is a show that like I don't think is like the funniest thing in the world. I like early Simpsons for like the plots and the character stuff. I like season 1 because it's just like a sitcom, you know, like a family sitcom that's very grounded.
Yeah.
They go through like all the basic ideas that you could not do now because they're done to death.
Yeah.
But then they were like new.
You don't like Lisa Goes Gaga?
like episode like 2 of The Simpsons is just like Lisa is depressed, and that's it. That's the whole plot. It's just Lisa's sad, and I like stuff like that where it's so simple.
So, what is your favorite episode of The Simpsons?
Homer's Enemy.
Everyone says Homer's Enemy.
It's the funniest episode.
I did not think it was funny at all.
You don't like Simpsons though.
It's not that I don't like Simpsons. I just never grew up with it, and anytime someone shows me something, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm not overly impressed.
Simpsons to me isn't like the funniest thing in the world. It never really was. I just liked it for the characters.
It's not a show I could find myself watching.
Yeah.
Like on my own accord. Same thing with South Park.
Well, I think Simpsons and South Park are the thing where...
I missed out on that.
Yeah, I will go back to those early episodes of both of them, and I'll be like, I'm not laughing as much as I was as a kid, but I'm also like, that doesn't mean I dislike this at all. I'm just not...
Yeah, I don't dislike Simpsons. I never watched it, really.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to that thing where, like, new Simpsons... Because this is what sparked it in my mind. Yesterday, I was looking at a clip from, like, Simpsons season, 14. It was whenever it was, like, getting to that weird era where the I think it was still animated on paper, but it was digitally colored.
Mm-hmm. Where it's, like, the colors are really, really weird.
The colors are kind of muddy, like, but the lines, there's, like, a lot of bleeding in the lines, you know? And it's, like, harsh black, because now they do, like, light. They do, like a dark brown now, I'm pretty sure.
Does that look better?
No, you don't like it? A lot of modern shows I think do like a dark brown for the line art.
I like that though. That's how I do line work. I do use like a dark magenta.
But Simpsons, I was like, yeah, these episodes are not good. Like I don't like a majority of this stuff, but it still feels like the old show. It still feels like The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. But we watched that new one. I check out a couple because people ask me, do I watch new Simpsons and new Family Guys and new South Parks? And it's like, I watch every new South Park. But with Simpsons and Family Guy, it's like only whenever, like, occasionally when it's on or something interests me. And we watched that new one. It was like a what if scenario. If like Bart never was born.
If Bart wasn't
Bart wasn't theirs.
If Bart wasn't their child.
And they
that
had
was
to,
an
like,
okay episode.
Yeah, I was like, that's okay. That was a good episode.
Yeah.
But it was not the same show. You know?
No.
It was not The Simpsons. It's that thing where it feels like it's written by.
But that is like a sitcom plot. You know what I mean?
But
Which
I
I
like
like.
that. Yeah. But it's that thing where I watch new episodes of The Simpsons and I'm like, this isn't bad, but it is not the same show. Which is, again, not a bad thing.
Another good example was that one episode we watched like a year ago at Amines where it was Marge and Homer going on their anniversary and they're like in the woods.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a sweet one.
Yeah, but it's so different from what I'm used to. And it's that,
which I wouldn't know.
It's that thing I'm saying of like, that thing with like Family Guy, SpongeBob, even South Park, at a certain point it gets to a stage where I'm like, this feels so removed from what it originally was. And that's not a bad thing, but it's a bad thing when it comes, I would argue, with SpongeBob and Family Guy. But like, it's different. It's weird to watch because everything's just slightly off. It's like you're watching new people come in and try to recapture.
That's how I feel.
Was there.
That's how I feel towards the Hey Arnold Jungle movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't really want to watch it.
She hasn't watched.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to watch it because I'm like, it's not. I feel like this is trying to give me a conclusion to a story that hasn't been touched in a really long time, and I just don't want to hear it.
I'm pretty sure that was like a big failure too.
Was it the new one?
I remember hearing that the Jungle movie was a big failure because Nickelodeon were doing all those reboots. They were doing the Hey Arnold new movie and the Rocco new movie and the
Zim movie
and the Invader Zim movie. And I watched the Rocco one was fine. The Zim one was pretty good. But the Hey Arnold one, I think it was the first one, and I think it didn't do that good in the ratings because it first aired on Nickelodeon. And it's like, of course it didn't do that well in the ratings. It's a kids' network, and you don't air the show anymore. Well, they're not going to watch a movie based on it.
See, it would have been better if they had done, like, reruns of it to get kids to like it or enjoy it.
Yeah, like a marathon.
Yeah.
But that's why I think that they went to Netflix for Rocco and Zim.
Which... that caters more towards the people who grew up with it
all
rather
the people
than
who have subscription services.
Yeah, all the people who grew up with it who are adults now rather than kids now jumping into a series they have nothing.
And kids now are gonna will just scroll through Netflix and they'll see like, oh, cartoon.
When I worked at the school, this was in like 2016, 2017. There were tests going out for Hey Arnold
Jungle movie.
I applied for it. I didn't get it
For boards.
For props. I didn't get it at all. I barely had like a decent portfolio then.
Let's say you did it. Let's say you got the job and you did props for the movie. Would you still be like, not watching it? No.
I probably would watch it because I worked on it.
Or would you be like, yeah, I did that. It's kind of great.
I would see. I know that my mentality would be like, got to work on a Hey Arnold project. Pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
But I probably would be like,
Craig Bartlett, hi.
Hire me.
There's some space in the couch right here.
Right here for you.
And there's a wink.
And some for Jim Lang too.
Who's Jim Lang?
Jim Lang did the music.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I love Jim Lang's music. So good. Oh, but
what's a cartoon with a memorable soundtrack to you?
Dude, Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold.
Do you like the SpongeBob production music?
I do like the SpongeBob music.
Guys, go look up Pacific Island 2. I remember whenever I was watching SpongeBob, there was like a random season 6 episode I was watching, and I was like, I like that song in the background. What the fuck is that? And I find out it's only been used in a couple. Yeah, I like this song. This is played whenever, I think this is played whenever the little clam that there is like flying away. Yeah. Oh, it's played whenever he's planting the seed for his house. He's like, goodbye home.
Goodbye home. Goodbye land.
So long.
So long. You know what I really like is it's a song by Jim Lang and it's called Look Up, and I forget which episode of Hey Arnold it is. Actually, I think I'll say it's the one where Arnold decides to take on the challenge of doing this, is doing a list of things where no kid has done it before, where he wakes up in the morning and he has to eat like 8 bowls of cereal, and then he has to watch like this one television show until like 6 p.m. and then he rides his bike down a hill and he makes it down the bottom of the hill, and then he plays catch with every kid in the park, right? It's this long list of like the impossible things a kid couldn't do all in one day, and he tries to do it, and each time he tries to do each task, like something gets in his way. So like the first one's like the milk is sour and there wasn't enough cereal, and then like because there was no cereal, he had to go get some more or something like that, and then he ends up being late for the TV show because his alarm clock broke. So he's like running late, and then he tries to get out of his apartment to ride the bike, but then it just so happens that his grandma's ordering a piano. So like they're fitting it through the front door, so he has to jump out the window, and he rides his bike, but then he gets a flat he rides his bike through tar and the tires get stuck. So then he ditches it and he goes to the park and he tries to play catch with someone. Someone just like grabs the ball and then runs away with it. And he has the worst day ever. And when he finally comes back to the boarding house, he's on top of the roof and this grandma is there and he's explaining how he has like a horrible day. It was like the worst day ever. And she plays this song and it's called Look Up. It's so sweet. It's like, aw. It's like a really sweet. And like the grandma comes, they bring the piano up on the roof and she's just playing it as they're like bringing it in.
Doing the sponge kind of better.
Tying the shoes, a loop-de-loop and pull.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
You know what's a good finale to a cartoon? I like the Gravity Falls ending.
Never saw it.
I know you never saw it. That's another one that got me like close to crying as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, because when did Gravity Fall? It wasn't even that
It ends
long.
with them getting like a letter, right? Being like, and everyone signs it and they say come back
It's
next
just them
summer.
leaving, yeah. And I remember I just was sad, because that was a really short cartoon too. It's like what, like 40 episodes, I want to say.
Oh, really?
Alex Hirsch, I think, yeah, he planned out his series for 2 seasons and it was really popular. It was like the biggest cartoon ever for a while.
I saw it everywhere when it was out.
Yeah, and then Disney wanted him to do a 3rd season really badly and he was like, no, done.
Respectable.
Which is respectable.
That's respectable, yeah.
But it had a really good finale.
I'm trying to think of... See, I can't think of any cartoons that I'm like, that had a good finale. You know what had a bad finale?
What?
Shameless.
Shameless? Yeah, guys, go watch your Shameless episode.
Go watch every
hear
single
about it.
Shameless episode.
No, go watch our episode on Shameless, not every single Shameless episode.
Watch every single Shameless episode and then watch our episode, Smiles. I'm trying to think of another like cartoon that really kind of fucked my shit up as a kid. Other than Hey Arnold, because that constantly fucked my shit up.
I was really scared by the Billy and Mandy episode where Billy's fucking with the guy and he turns into like a plant guy. You ever see that one?
You're talking about the like kid who's like all black and his like
No,
dad is like an evil like shadow man.
You know the guy from his previous show, the one about the bear?
Yeah.
You know, like the guy
Evil
with the
Incarnate.
long nose?
Yeah.
Like the general guy? Mm-hmm. He's in Billy and Mandy and he gets Billy like gets him killed, I think. He literally I think kills him and he's reincarnated as like a plant guy. And
I know what you're talking about.
And from what I remember, the episode ends with like Billy being like choked out in a garden. And he's like begging for help and gasping for air, and then it pans over and his family's like having a barbecue in the next garden over. And I remember that was like that really scared me as a kid.
That scared you?
Can I?
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever been able to find like what I've been thinking of.
A few moments later.
So that is not how I remembered it ending. But I remember the visual of him being like him being stuck in the plant thing scared me. But that happens. That still happens. They're all in a garden and then he's in the next garden being choked. That terrified me as a kid. It's a weird concept.
I'm trying. You know what? Courage always kind of scared me. Anytime I felt like I needed to be brave, I'd watch like
Courage.
I would like build up the courage to watch Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Never watched it.
That's a good. There's one, oh, you know what? Okay. There's one episode that does make me kind of cry, and it's the one where there's these space squids, and they're like two space squids, and they're in love, and like one of them protects the other one, and he dies, and so the mom has all the babies, and it lands on like the land where Eustace and Muriel live, and like the government wants to come and take the babies away and take like the mom, and she's trying to protect them, and Courage is like helping them or whatever, and the mom ends up dying, but the babies end up going free into the space or whatever, and she like dies and turns into like a garden or something.
But you don't like government plots.
But I don't like government plots. But that one was different because the ending of it, I don't know, the ending of it was so touching. And like the beginning of it starts, you know what I mean? Like,
you want to know how I find out about most of these episodes of cartoons?
Huh.
Mr. Enter.
Really?
That's how I first found out about that. That's how I first found out about Pigeon Man.
On Squidward's toe. Squidward's
toenail. No, I would watch like Mr. Enter. I would watch Mr. Enter fucking religiously.
You hear that, Mr. Enter?
If you want to come on the podcast.
If you want to come on the podcast, you can sit next to this wench.
I would watch him religiously as a kid, and he had this little series called like Admiral Animation or something like that, and like animated atrocities. And he did one on Nickelodeon where he talked about like the Pigeon Man and like the cut ending, and he had like sad piano music in the background, and you're listening to his like crusty 2012 like microphone like on Movie Maker with almost basic editing, and I was like, this is kind of creepy, honestly.
Let me ask you this then. Any movies or television series nowadays that has like evoked some sort of emotion from you?
Whenever I was a kid, the ending to Wreck-It Ralph made me really upset. I think I almost
That made
cried.
me tear up. That made me tear up in
when
theaters.
He's going down.
But it only makes me tear up because it's just a ripoff of the Iron Giant. And the Iron Giant flies up to the nuclear bomb or whatever, and he's like, Superman. He closes his eyes.
Wreck-It Ralph's cooler, though.
No, it's not. It has Hogarth being like, you get a pick. You decide.
I like his little speech he gives when he's falling down to the...
I might not be bad. Or I may be bad, but I'm not a bad guy.
I may be based, and that's not cringe. Or it's like, I'm cringe, and that's based. I'll never be based, and that's not cringe.
That sucks. Play that, Bruce. that was kind of sad though.
Yeah.
But it's way more impactful than Iron Giant.
I like the ending too, where he's sitting on top of the little tower and he looks out over the little monitor and he sees her arcade machine over and she like smiles at him.
Aw.
And I like that ending too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wreck-It Ralph's a really good movie, and then they fucked it up with Wreck-It Ralph 2 was one of the worst. I was so sad when I saw Wreck-It Ralph 2. It's so bad.
I remember when I saw the whole princess sleepover thing, I was like, this looks really cute. And it turns out that was the only like decent.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Bricks the Internet, is so unbelievably bad.
You think they actually thought people would think it's like cool and fun?
Yes, it's like 20 years too late. It's all about Ralph needing enough money so he can buy an arcade wheel on eBay. And so he has to raise like $10,000, and so he becomes a viral YouTube star by just replicating memes like goat videos and like Bob Ross parodies and
That
cooking
sucks.
videos.
That fucking sucks.
And it shows all those clips of people in the real world being like, hey, you gotta check out this video. It's so awesome. And it's like, what? Who cares? No one would care. There'd be like one comment on that video and it'd be like, fucking kill yourself.
You know, there is some kid out there who thought, wow, Grumpy Cat must be like that. Grumpy Cat like goes to other videos and they're famous.
Yeah.
Grumpy Cat is like Wreck-It Ralph.
Guys, let us know in the comments below what cartoon episodes
Made you cry.
Made you cry.
Let us know what you would like to recommend for us so we can cry.
Yeah.
So, Mark, let me ask you this then. What is an episode that made you angry of a cartoon series? That's a hard one.
There are definitely some, though.
Yeah, I know there are. Lisa Goes Gaga?
No, I didn't care about that whenever I was a kid. I was like, whatever. I was just consuming it at that point.
You're a consumer.
A lot of SpongeBob episodes annoyed me as a kid.
Like Squidward's toenail.
There was a weird point because it's so weird because this shift in SpongeBob is so jarring in like terms of his character and how like childish and annoying he gets.
Yeah, they make him an idiot and
But
they
as
make
a kid-
Patrick even stupider.
As a kid, I never noticed it, you know?
Because he wasn't like that. He was like a person.
But that's the thing, I never noticed that
That
change
shift?
happened. Yeah,
Really?
even though it's really obvious.
Really?
Yeah, I just was like, oh, in this episode he's annoying, and in this one he just sounds a little funny, you know? Like the earlier ones I was like, he sounds weird, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was my thought process. But a lot of those where he's like annoying Squidward when the security system takes control of Squidward's house and starts taking over the city, even though SpongeBob and Patrick are the ones that like I've tried to do the whole thing, I couldn't do it. Look it up.
More moments later.
Sophia, I love the term Squidward torture porn. 3 words that should not go together.
Squidward torture porn. We should make that the episode title.
Yeah, the top 10 patrons.
Top
of
10
bricks.
But torture porns.
No, we're not calling it that.
Why not? It'd be
Porn
cool.
in the title.
Oh yeah, huh?
Squidward torture porn. But yeah, nothing will ever have shooken me more than when Brian Griffin died on Family Guy.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking.
But that's the thing. That's the worst part about it is that Seth MacFarlane completely like did not want. That's the thing. He doesn't even work on this shit anymore. But he still tried to like own up to like, no, this wasn't like a cheap marketing tactic to get people to watch Family Guy again.
It totally was.
Yeah, he was like, because that's the thing. Everyone, can you believe this? There are still people out there who don't realize that it takes like years to make a cartoon. They think it takes like a week. So
Well, that's because they look at like the South Park like air in 6 days and they go, see, you could do that.
yeah, so whenever the Family Guy episode came out, Life of Brian, there's like a big uproar, like, what the fuck, Brian died. Like 2 weeks he's brought back. But within that 2 weeks, it was like everyone was furious. They hated Vinny. They got tattoos of Brian, R.I.P.
Rip Brian on their legs.
And that should be a Patreon goal.
We get tattoos of Rip Brian.
We get $20,000.
We'll get tattoos of Rip Brian. Where would you get it?
I don't know.
On your arm?
My arm.
I don't think your parents would ever... They would think that's my fault. I don't think they'd ever forgive me.
Like here. Like you just...
You would get it right there, Rip Brian?
Like covered.
What kind of Brian, though?
It would be the one from the thing. Where he's like got his martini in the air and he's like smiling.
You wouldn't want like a season 2 Brian?
That'd be funny if it was
him. Him like sitting on the couch.
I love that frame.
I want Adam West. I want Adam West when he gets married to his hand.
Everyone hated Brian. They were Vinny. They were getting tattoos. There were like news articles about it. It was like massive for fucking a Family Guy character dying. And so all you had to fucking do was look at like the TV guides for the episodes airing like 2 weeks
and then
later.
You can see that he comes back. Do they say it in the description?
I think they do. Yeah.
If we what's Family Guy on HBO Max?
Okay, it's like hinted at.
Yeah.
It says, meanwhile, Stewie devises a master plan to get the one and only thing he wants for Christmas. It's kind of subtle. Okay.
Not really though. I wouldn't assume Brian would be coming back if they killed him.
Dude, this was a bad season of Family Guy. What the fuck?
Yeah, why?
They have the 2 episodes after being brought back. It had the episode where Brian's son comes back, and Brian like just wants to like get a job on his TV show, so he like
that sucks.
Yeah, so he like it's implied that Brian has not seen the kid since the last episode.
He wants to be like a writer on the show, right?
Yeah, so he like tricks the kid into like spending time with him so he can be a writer on his show. Then a couple episodes later, they have the episode where Peter wants to marry Chris to get his inheritance money. So the two get married. God. Then 2 episodes later, Brian gives Stewie herpes for no reason.
That season?
Yeah. Then let's see.
The same season Brian dies and comes back, he gives Stewie herpes.
Yeah.
Fucking great. That sucks.
And then a couple episodes later, Cleveland comes back in the episode called "He's Black."
Smiles.
So not Little Wench. Brian Griffin came back 2 episodes later, and Seth MacFarlane tweeted something like, "Yeah, well, now you guys understand our nice little Christmas message that you shouldn't take what you have for granted because
fuck off.
It can be taken away at a second's notice." And it's like, you did it for money, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, why the fuck off? Like this was to teach a lesson.
Yeah, and also you don't fucking write in the show anymore. What do you know?
What do you think about Seth MacFarlane and that new song?
Seth MacFarlane did some like Logic song recently where it's like he's doing his fucking Frank Sinatra voice he always loves doing.
He sings like a couple of lines and then it just gets replayed in the background.
Nice singer.
He's a great singer.
He's not Frank Sinatra though.
No, as much as I think he wants to be.
Everyone thinks he is. Everyone's like, this is the reincarnation of Frank Sinatra.
Shut up.
Even little Frank Sinatra Jr. was better than Seth MacFarlane.
Of course, yes. Nancy Sinatra is better than Seth MacFarlane. Smiles.
Can you imagine that? You have episodes of Family Guy where Brian Griffin sings with Frank Sinatra Jr. He was like a recurring character on Family Guy. writing in your own thing. My OC Brian Griffin
sings with Frank Sinatra's
imagine that
son.
online. He literally has his little furry OC that's a self-insert for him sing with his idol son, and they sing a little duet together. If that wasn't on like a primetime like Emmy-winning show, that would be like the lamest thing in the world.
And he's a reoccurring character.
He's a reoccurring character. Frank Sinatra Jr. He died, didn't he? He did die recently.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no, they brought Brian back.
Brian back.
Seth MacFarlane, yeah, he did. He tried to pass it off like, you can cut this out. I'm just trying to get up to speed where I'm at. I got distracted.
We know where we're at.
Yeah. I'm trying to like think about where I wanted to go with it. Yeah, no, they brought Brian back.
That's it.
They brought Brian back.
Yeah.
And
okay, Mark.
all is right with the world.
Brian Griffin, Stewie,
No.
Quagmire. You have to go on a vacation with 2 of them.
Brian and Stewie.
Brian and Stewie. Okay, Brian Griffin, Cleveland, and Quagmire.
Brian in Cleveland.
Not Quagmire.
No.
Why?
I don't know. He'd be a menace. I guess he doesn't really have sex anymore. It's not really a part of his personality.
How would he be a menace?
He'd be wanting to take girls back to the hotel room.
So? How's
That'd
that?
be annoying.
What?
Yeah, no, that's so weird to me. In the later seasons of Family Guy, they had to get rid of Quagmire's like only character trait that he liked having sex. because of like
misogyny.
Misogyny and like Me Too.
Because it's disrespectful to women.
They realized making jokes about someone raping women is not actually very funny.
But it was at the time.
It was hilarious. At the time.
Everyone had a friend who was just like Quagmire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always that whole little like Woody the Woodpecker thing.
He was like the Jay.
Who else but Quagmire? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like the Jay of Family Guy, except Jay never fucked women.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, but Family. I think it's because they got like really extreme with it at times.
I like the episode of it's a ripoff of Saving Silverman, and it's Quagmire meets that one woman who like abuses him.
That episode's called Quagmire's Quagmire.
Really?
See, that's a creative spin on it, where it's like you give him like someone who was presented as the villain, but they really are just like him. They're just a girl version of him, you know? They're doing the exact same shit he always does. Saving Silverman, I don't remember a thing about that
Saving
movie.
Silverman is so funny. It's got
Veronica
Steve Zahn.
wanted me to watch it because it had Steve Zahn in it, the dad from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
And Justin Long and Jack Black.
Yeah, and he does have Jack. I forgot. I don't remember anything about that movie.
And it's about Justin Long meeting a woman who like is just pretty much like she controls his whole life and like gets him to like stop being friends with Jack Black and Steve Zahn. So they decide to like kidnap her and pretend that she's dead to try and get him to hook up with his high school like love interest or whatever. And it's a comedy, but it's really funny. And then Jack Black ends up marrying his coach. At the end, he's like, "I'm gay." Oh, cause she's like a psychologist or psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And she shrinks Jack Black into him being like, "I'm gay." No, you're right.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That movie's so good though.
So guys, comment below what Mr. Beast video is your favorite.
Shut up. I genuinely want to know what is like an episode of a cartoon series
like
that
stuck
made
with you.
Yeah,
It stuck with you in any way.
But like made you cry. I want to know that. Like really like got the feels. You know.
Yeah. I really cried when SpongeBob.
I cried when Stoop Kid got to leave a stoop. It's from Hey Arnold.
I don't watch.
We need to watch Hey Arnold. We do. Oh, we should.
Craig Bartlett, if you come on the podcast, I will watch 2 episodes of Hey Arnold.
No. You will watch every episode in preparation for Craig Bartlett coming on here. You would genuinely, I think you would really love Hey Arnold.
I liked the episodes I saw.
Dino Spumoni.
I liked the Christmas episode.
Oh, I love that episode. There's one where his pig Abner goes missing. That one's a good one too. There's a really good one where Helga goes to therapy. And it's like Helga like dealing with her, with her neglect.
I liked that one too.
Oh, that's a good one. And like how she like had her crush on Arnold and where it started.
So yeah, guys, in the comments below, let us know which cartoon episodes made you cry, or made you angry, or made you
evoke some
little
emotion.
bothered.
Yeah, a little bothered.
Yeah. So
yeah, let us know if Squidward's torture porn bothers you.
Let us know how scared you were of Squidward's suicide. And Bandy the Ink Machine.
And Bandy's Universe.
Bandy's Universe. Doesn't know how terrified you were when you watched Bandy's Universe.
And how much you really want episode 6 to come out. Guys, is it out already?
I don't know.
Oh. Guys.
Where's episode 6, Bandy?
Come on, Bandy.
Guys, we are going to be interviewing Nathaniel B soon.
We're going to be interviewing Nathaniel Bandy, and we're going to be in Bandy's Universe.
And guys, get ready for the next episode of the podcast, because it's possibly our most special yet, where we're going to be interviewing the creator of Among Us.
That's right, guys. We are going to be interviewing the Mugas himself.
So if you want to, leave a comment below on if you
let
have
us
any
know what you
questions
want.
for the creator of Among Us.
Here's a little fun fact. Among Us was the first game Mark and I ever played.
Here's a little fun fact. Among Us.
Kind of sus.
Dude, I got like, as soon as that happened, I got like the like tinnitus in my ear. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's like, I told you, it reminds me of the Gmod deaf sound effect.
Oh,
Bruce, play the Gmod deaf sound effect right here. That's what I played in my ear there now.
Yeah, but you know what? That means you'll never hear that pitch ever again in your life.
What if that happened to you once and I was like...
That would be so scary.
What would you do?
I wouldn't know what to do.
For anyone listening, if like you had that in your ear and my voice, you couldn't even hear me anymore. And every time that happened, you could understand one less person in your life.
That'd be terrifying.
You'd have to just KYS or something.
No, I'd have to get one of those little ear thingies where I could like hear your pitch or whatever. It magnifies your pitch, I think. Well, thank you guys all for watching, and
Thank
make
you guys
sure
for
to
watching.
leave a
Remember to go back
review
to leave a
and
review on
5
Apple
stars
Podcasts,
on Apple
and
Podcasts
tune
and
in next time.
Spotify.
We're gonna be
And tune in
interviewing
next
the
time where we're going to be
creator of
interviewing the
Among Us.
next
And then
creator
the one after that, we're
He's
going
Making
to
Me
be
Lose My Train
interviewing the
of Thought.
creator
Then
of
we're gonna-
Amphibia. And then the one
after
after that,
we're
we're
going to
going to be interviewing the creator of
Baba
Clarence.
Mooney,
I'm the
Baba
showrunner
Mooney,
of Clarence because the creator is the creator. And then after that,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.